Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. तू एक माइक्रोफोन ले उधर क्या ना बोलेगा. You take a microphone. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Ambatvamanusandathami Bhagavat Geeta Bhavadveshiniim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvante Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramapanishadaihi Gayantiyam Samagaha Dhyanavasthitadgatena manasa Pashyanti yoginaha Yasyantanna vidussura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Let us recite the 19th verse. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagnidagdha karmanam tamahuh panditam buddhaha Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashraya karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. तो चालतो नहीं. So Lord Krishna describes in these verses how a Jivan Mukta hai, the one who is liberated in this life itself. Sabuddhiman manusyeshu sayukta krishna karma krit. With reference to karma, Lord Krishna describes the wisdom. Wisdom is the save, seeing the self or Atma as Brahman. And that is described in different contexts. in somewhat different ways. In the context of knowledge, the wise person is called Sthita Prajna. In the context of karma, he is called a yogi. In the context of bhakti, he is called bhakta. In the context of again knowledge, he is called jnana, gunatita, who has transcended the gunas. So depending upon the context, Lord Krishna describes the same wisdom by describing a wise person, Ajara Eko. What is meant to be described as the wisdom is described in terms of the characteristics displayed by a wise person. So here again a wise person is described by describing his characteristics with reference to karma. Because the context is, now raise the volume, karmani karmayah paschet. Because Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam. Here Arjuna, tasmatvam karma kuru eva. Purvaihi purvataram kratam. See that the earlier aspirants, people who desire moksha, also perform karma, which means that karma can very well be a means of moksha. In Arjuna's perception, karma is what binds you to samsara. The reason why Arjuna said, Nayotshe, I will not fight this battle, is because he looks upon this battle, meaning the duty of the karma that is in front of him, as something that will bind him, something that will cause him sin. Aho bata mahat papam kartam vyavasita vayam. How sad it is that we are now ready to perform this great papa or the sin. That yad rajyasya khalobhena hantum svajanam udyataha. That as motivated by, prompted by, compelled by the love or the greed for rajya, the kingdom, sukha, the pleasures, svajanam hantum udyataha, that we are prepared even to kill our near and dear ones. Look at us. So he thinks that performing this battle is papa karma, is a sinful action. Tasmin karmani ghore maam niyojayasi keshava. O Lord, why do you engage me, direct me, command me to perform this terrible action which involves killing? It is true that if it is action of killing, it is a sinful action, no doubt about that. But whether an action is classified as punya or papa, as a virtue or vice, or inaction, actionlessness, a person is performing action, all right. Whether that action is called punya karma, virtuous action, papa karma, vicious action, or akarma, actionlessness, is all determined not by the form of the action, not by what the person does, but the understanding and the attitude with which a person does. That is exactly what Lord Krishna wants to communicate. That it is not a rule that karma or action or duty is necessarily binding. It depends upon how you look at it, how you relate to that. A given action can be binding action depending upon how you relate to that. It can be freeing action depending on how you relate to that. It can be just leela or krida or simply a play depending upon how you relate to that. Or putting another way, how you perceive yourself. While performing an action, how do you perceive yourself? That determines if the action is punya karma, a virtuous action, papa karma, a vicious action, or akarma, actionless. Depends upon your perception of yourself. It is true that my perception of myself will also bring about a perception about karma. Perception about karma phala. So how I perceive karma phala, the result of action, how I perceive karma and action is very much determined by how I perceive myself. And when Arjuna perceives himself as a svajana, as a near one, near and dear one, as related to these people, then karma is classified in one way. When he looks upon himself as the one who is the instrument in the hands of Lord, who does not seek any personal benefit from this action, if that is how he perceives himself, then karma is classified in a different way. If he perceives himself as Brahman, which is who he is, then the karma is classified in a different way. So karma meaning action remaining the same as far as the akara, the form of action is concerned. It is how I perceive myself is what determines the effect that the karma produces. Because my perception of myself also determines my perception of karma. It also determines my perception of karma phala. If I look upon myself as a needy person, as wanting, lacking, inadequate, needy, needing at the physical level, needing at the emotional level, needing at the intellectual level, needing at the ego level, so many kinds of needs we have. If I look upon myself as a needy person while performing an action, then action will naturally become or will be looked upon as a means of fulfilling my need. And for that person, action cannot fulfill the need. It is the result of the action that can fulfill the need. Because this need is a physical need or a worldly need. Physical need, emotional need, intellectual need, egoistic need. These needs can be satisfied by karma phala, by the outcome that you get from karma. Whether outcome is physical comfort, emotional comfort, emotional gratification, intellectual gratification, ego gratification. If I am a seeker of gratification, and as a seeker of gratification I perform an action, then my relationship to action will be as the one who expects the karma to fulfill my need of gratification. So karma phala then is looked upon as the means of fulfilling my need for gratification. So karma phala means outcome of the karma, result of the karma. So when a needy person performs karma, outcome becomes very important. Because karma is only a means of producing outcome for that person. He wants gratification. Only a physical thing can give him gratification. The karma phala, which is in a physical form, as an object, as a person, as a situation, that alone can satisfy the need for gratification. Therefore, karma phala becomes very important. His relationship to karma is something that is meant for producing karma phala. His relation to karma phala is that which is means of fulfilling my need of gratification. If this is so, then surely that karma will bind you. Because then I perform karma as a dependent person, as a needy person, as someone who looks upon karma as a means of fulfilling my need for gratification. In that case, the possibility of whether I am happy or unhappy, whether harsha or shoka, elation or depression is created as a result of karma phala, it will create. Yako. So this is very important. Who is the person performing the karma? And usually the person performing karma is a needy person. But that is how my perception of myself is, that I am a needy person. As long as I look upon myself through the medium of body, mind, sense organs, intellect, then I am a limited person. Body is limited, sense organs are limited, mind, intellect, everything is limited. Inadequate, incomplete, lacking, wanting, that is what the upadhi is. It's limited. If upadhi is limited, that's not the problem. I am limited is the problem. And that perception of myself, that I am limited, I am inadequate, I am lacking, I am wanting, comes because of the identification with upadhi, body, mind, sense complex. And that is natural. Natural means it's habitual. We are born with that identification. Meaning we are born with this perception of ourselves as a needy being. Unfortunately, more I try to satisfy the needs of that needy being, more the need becomes intense. That is the nature of that need. That need for gratification cannot be satisfied by providing gratification from a source outside of ourselves. Meaning that as long as I expect the objects and things and beings and accomplishments of the world, it can be objects of senses, objects of comfort, objects of emotional gratification, intellectual gratification. It may be some good company, it may be sightseeing, it may be exploring. It may maybe power, name, fame, ego gratification. So long that gratification will never be satisfied. Meaning that when my desire is satisfied, momentarily there is a sense of satisfaction. But soon that needy being sees that it is not quite enough. That his real need is not, somehow he feels that his need is not satisfied, and therefore he comes with a different form of need. As we have said, the need is a need for being limitless. Need is a need of being free. That's the real need. But not recognizing that real need, that very need itself manifests all these different worldly needs. And I assume or believe that by satisfying those small needs, that my original need will be satisfied. It doesn't happen. So every successful outcome, or every desirable outcome, does provide some gratification, no doubt about that. But it's going to be limited. Because what my heart is seeking is limitless, therefore it is not going to be satisfying me for a long time. So mind comes up with a different need. Thus, one need leads to another need. Not only that, but need means dependence. And one dependence leads to another dependence. I, in the process, become more and more dependent, more and more needy, meaning more and more bound. This is called bondage, which is characterized by dependence, need, helplessness. So, this is how people perform karma, that is how they relate to karma phala. And karma phala is important, not karma. So now how to change, how to transform this process? Basically what we need to do is to transform our perception of ourselves. That's what is to be done. How can karma become a means of transforming my perception of myself? So that we call yoga. And therefore, what Lord Krishna wants to tell Arjuna is that, look, it is not a rule that you have to relate yourself to the karma as a needy person. It's not a rule. You can relate to karma as the one who is fulfilling the need. You can look upon karma as a means of fulfilling your need, or you can look upon karma as fulfilling someone else's need. Karma remains the same. Your attitude changes. Meaning that you, instead of perceiving yourself as a needy being, in the words of Puja Swami, as a consumer, who is a consumer, needy being, who is seeking favor, who is seeking gratification, that's a consumer. You have a choice of changing your perception of yourself. What is the choice? You deliberately look upon yourself as a fulfiller of the need rather than a seeker of fulfillment, seeker of need. It is possible that this is a deliberate thing. Here is one emotional faculty, mind, which always functions as a needy entity. The second is the intellect, who now has his understanding that by fulfilling needs I can never become free from need. However, by making my action a means of fulfilling needs of others, instead of a consumer, I become a contributor and offerer. That also can be a means of fulfilling my need. That karma also can become a means of fulfilling my need. Karma also can become a means of gratification, depending upon how I relate to karma. So that relationship of relating to karma as a means of my offering something, my contributing something, not as a means of fulfilling my need, as a means of contributing something. Then what can I contribute? I have to look at my own resources, what all I have. A needy person looks at himself as the one who doesn't have there's so many things. A consumer is keenly aware of what he or she doesn't have. A contributor on the other hand, wants to become aware of what all he has, which is also there. I may not have much maybe. I may not be a wealthy person, may not be a powerful person, may not even be a talented person, but I have something. I do have some time, some physical energy, some emotional wealth within myself that I can show sympathy, compassion. I have wealth of all those things. As far as compassion is concerned, sympathy is concerned, truthfulness is concerned, honesty is concerned, I have infinite wealth, understand? As far as the worldly things are concerned, I may not be wealthy, and I may not be able to contribute those things. Meaning that I may not be able to make my karma or duty as a means of offering wealth, treasure, or even talent. But there is time, and apart from that, there is the infinite potential of the inner wealth. The physical or material wealth I may not have, but the inner wealth in terms of, as I said, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantihi, arjavam, humility, honesty, compassion, large-heartedness, truthfulness. I have plenty. That is called Devi Sampat, that's the divine wealth, which is what Lord Krishna says you can offer. You can make every karma a means of offering this divine wealth. Invoke your compassion while doing anything. Invoke your compassion, invoke your honesty, invoke your truthfulness, invoke your simplicity. That way you are invoking your fullness, really. It is a fullness that is our nature, which alone manifests as love and compassion and kindness and generosity. So therefore, by invoking these values and attitudes, I am really invoking my fullness, inherent fullness or wholeness within me, which is what I want to be. I want to be whole and full and complete. That wholeness, fullness, completeness cannot be accomplished by any means. Nothing can give me that, because I already am. Therefore, I have to tap into my wholeness, fullness, and action karma because the means of tapping into that. That's every karma, every interaction. Karma means any interaction. I'm talking to you right now is also karma. You listening to me also is a karma, really. Every moment there is some interaction that we have with the world. And that interaction can become, or can be made into an occasion of tapping into my love, compassion, generosity, large-heartedness, all of which I have in plenty. So Lord Krishna says karma also can become means that way. You don't look upon yourself as a needy person. Look upon yourself as one who has infinite wealth. A wealthy person. What kind of wealth? Your infinite wealth of compassion, love, kindness. Look upon yourself as that. Meaning that while performing any action, any interaction, act as a kind person, compassionate person, sympathetic person, large-hearted person, forgiving person, accommodating person. Not easy. Because this needy consumer is always a demanding person, a wanting person. A wanting person cannot afford to be large-hearted, cannot afford to be a giver because then he's afraid. What will happen to my need? What will happen to my wants? Not realizing that invoking this inner wealth is a way of fulfilling that needs. That need is a need of wholeness, fullness, completeness. And when I invoke this value, that attitude, which are nothing but invoking that wholeness, that's the way that is the way to fulfill my need. Then karma becomes important. Then if I perceive myself as an offerer, as a contributor, as a giver, which is a deliberate attitude I entertain. Perhaps having looked upon myself all along as a needy, wanting, lacking person, this attitude of a giver will not automatically arise. I have to make an effort. My mind may resist, but that is where I have to exercise self-control, self-effort, self-motivation. That now I am going to act as a contributor. My mind resists. Mind says, why should I do? What is in it for me? I say, well, this action is not meant for something for you, it is meant for being an opportunity for you to fulfill someone else's need. So this is a deliberate attitude. We have habitual attitudes of being consumer, wanting, lacking, demanding, asking. A deliberate attitude is quite contrary to that. This contrary attitude is called Pratipaksha Bhavana. So whereas my mind wants to use every opportunity of taking advantage of something, I deliberately try to convert every action, every interaction as an opportunity to contribute. That's what Lord Krishna wants to teach Arjuna. And Arjuna, change your perception of yourself. Then karma will become a punya karma. Any karma that is performed as a means of fulfilling your need, any karma that is performed as a consumer is a binding karma. in the sense that it will only intensify your need. It will only intensify your helplessness as a consumer. That's called bondage. Same karma can be utilized as a means of freedom by simply changing the attitude. By simply changing the attitude, which comes by changing the perception of yourself. While performing karma, habitually one perceives oneself as a consumer. But deliberately, you replace that habit by deliberate perception of being a contributor. It's an opportunity that Ishvara has given me to offer something to Ishvara. The ideal thing is, when we say contribute to others, look upon yourself as contributing to Ishvara. In whatever form Ishvara is, what is his manifesto of Ishvara? Therefore, I am performing this action for the satisfaction of Ishvara. May Ishvara be pleased. All of this has already come. Anyway, this is what Lord Krishna meant by saying that Kuru karma eva tasmat tvam. Hey Arjuna, aspirants in the past have performed karma as a means of freedom. The popular idea is that karma binds, karmana badhyate jantuhu. A jantu, a jivatma is bound by karma. That is a common notion. And that is true also. If the karma is performed as a consumer. But same karma also can become a means of freedom. If performed as a yogi, as a one who invokes the very best in himself or herself and creates that, makes that as an opportunity for his contribution. Not out of pride, out of humility. That I am thankful that this opportunity is given to me. Karma is an opportunity for me to make a contribution. So Karma Yogi is an humble person. He is a bhakta, a devotee of Ishvara, because he looks upon everything he has created by Ishvara. So karma also is an opportunity given to him by Ishvara to make a contribution. Kuru karma eva tasmat tvam. The Arjuna, may you perform the karma. And this attitude of being a contributor, of being a yogi, of being a bhakta, which will mature into being a nimitta or merely an instrument in the hand of the Lord, will ultimately result into the true perception of yourself that you are actionless. So the usual perception of myself is, I am a needy, lacking, wanting, being a consumer. A deliberate perception is that I want to be a contributor, a giver of the sympathy, compassion, the goodness that I have, which will culminate into a spontaneous perception that I am actionless, I am Brahman. And so this is the description of one where the Karma Yoga has culminated into this perception that I am Brahman, I am limitless, I am complete, I am whole. So these verses are a description of a person who enjoys this perception of himself. And this is a spontaneous perception. looking upon myself deliberately as a contributor will slowly make me fit for listening to scriptures and seeing myself as Brahman, and then ultimately that perception becomes spontaneous by Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So one who spontaneously sees himself as free, sa buddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karma krit. Buddhiman, he is a wise person. Yukta, he is a yogi in the true sense. Call him karma yogi, jnana yogi, bhakti yogi, they all combine into one. Krishna karma krit, one who has done everything that one needs to do in the life. And that is our goal. That is what we want to be. That is said, if we really examine the desire behind all the desires, then we will find that this is what we want to be. And thank God that that is what we already are. As we've been saying earlier, it is not the process of accomplishing the unaccomplished, process of accomplishing what is already accomplished. Meaning that karma, which is normally looked upon as a means of accomplishing what is not accomplished, only perpetuates the need for accomplishment. Same karma, when performed with the contrary attitude, becomes a means of accomplishing what is already accomplished. Meaning that every karma becomes a means of invoking my wholeness, which ultimately, through of course teaching, leads to the vision of wholeness. And one who enjoys that vision is free. So freedom is our nature, and therefore you can abide in freedom. We cannot abide in something that is not our nature. Water cannot abide in a tank on a mountain top. It cannot abide there. It always pressurizes itself to go down and meet the ocean. And then it abides after having met the ocean. So he is a person who is abiding, free from all the stresses and strains and exertions in life. Or mental stresses, strains and exertions, that's what we mean. So this is what Lord Krishna is describing in these verses. And therefore Arjuna should understand, for Arjuna to understand, that this is the true nature of karma. That karma in reality is akarma. When karma is performed upon, looked upon as karma, it certainly becomes a burden. When that karma is to fulfill a need, it is a great burden. When that karma is performed to fulfill others' need as a contributor, it is much less burden. And that karma is performed by the wise person, there is no burden at all. So reducing the burden, reducing the bondage, reducing the dependence is the process. And in these verses, Lord Krishna is describing a Jivan Mukta, one who has attained this abidance while living. That is our goal. What we can do is to initiate the process. What the end is, leave it to Ishvara. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Lord Krishna says that it is the end of the process carried out through many lives that one becomes a wise person and sees me as everything. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Doesn't matter to us. When the goal will reach, I think should not burden us. Because the goal can never reach unless the right process is undertaken. Our freedom is karmanyavadikaraste. We have the freedom in the process of being a karma yogi, then pursuing knowledge and simultaneously pursuing knowledge also. That's a process that we undertake. Right values, right attitude, that's the process that we can control. And that's what we, and then fortunately that process itself is gratifying. That whole process itself gives me self-satisfaction. Thus we realize that satisfaction doesn't lie outside of myself. It is my very self, it is tapped from myself. In the beginning I tapped the satisfaction from myself. Ultimately, I see the satisfaction as myself. So this process of yoga is tapping the satisfaction from myself, meaning that experiencing satisfaction at every step. Therefore it's the fulfilling process. Therefore when the end will come is not important because the process itself is also enjoyable. Karmanya vipravrittovi naiva kinchit karoti sa. In the verse 28, Lord Krishna said that a wise person who has this vision about himself or herself, karmanya vipravrittovi karmani avitaha pravrittaha. He is engaged in action, fully engaged in action. Meaning that when that person performs action, he devotes his total self to the action. Because there is no agenda. His attention is not distracted by what the outcome will be. His attention is not distracted by the consideration of personal reward. His attention only is in what he is doing, because the doing itself generates satisfaction. Therefore, karmani avipravrittovi is fully engaged. Even a karma yogi also is fully engaged in action. Mindfully engaged in action. Meaning that to the extent that we have the attitude of yoga, to that extent our engagement with karma becomes more and more real, more and more mindful, and more a means of giving myself in, offering myself. Naiva kinchit karoti saha. He, in reality, from his own standpoint, does not do anything. Understand, karma yogi does have kartrutva. A samsari has kartrutva, which is rajasic or tamasic kartrutva. Binding, burdensome, stressful. This is the yattu kamevsuna karma. The karma that is performed by kamevsu, one the desiring to fulfill the, achieve certain ends, as prompted by kama. Sahankarena va punah. Then with ahankara, I am doing this. That karma is going to produce all kinds of stresses and strains. On the other hand, karma yogi performs karma as without it, aragadveshata krutam afala prepsuna karma. One who performs the karma without ragadvesha, without the greed for karma phala. That's called sattvic karma. So karma yogi is a sattvic karta. And wise person is one who has transcended the sattva also. So description of the wise person continues in subsequent verses also. And the reason why Lord Krishna urges Arjuna to perform action, take up his duty, hey Arjuna, this is an opportunity for you to grow, for you to contribute. Oh Lord, how can I contribute? I am killing these people. Depends on how you look upon yourself, how your perception is. If your perception is you are killing them, yes, it is a sinful karma, it is a papa karma, no doubt about that. If your perception is that you are serving the cause of dharma, that you represent dharma or righteousness, you are not killing people. You are protecting dharma. There is a sudden noble cause in your mind. A karma yogi has a noble cause. Because then only we can grow out of these mundane expectations and self-centeredness. When a karma is performed for a certain cause. A cause is of course Ishvara Buddhi, offering it to Ishvara. But in case of Arjuna, that offering to Ishvara is done by way of protecting dharma, serving the cause of dharma. Because dharma or righteousness that maintains an order in the society. When there is order in the society, then everybody knows what their place is, what their role is, what their duty is. Then there is no conflict, no competition, not pulling each other's legs. There is cooperation. In dharma, there is cooperation. Meaning that if this matter is looked upon as an opportunity to serve the cause of dharma, it is serving the cause of the whole society. It is imparting happiness to society. And Ishvara in that form, if that is how I look upon this karma, you said the other day, these laborers breaking the rocks. What for are you breaking the rocks? Well, because it's a means of livelihood. That's why I'm doing it. Why are you breaking the rocks? Well, because that is my duty. Why are you breaking rocks? Because I'm building temple. Karma being the same, what's the perception can be different? So Arjuna, Lord Krishna wants Arjuna to look at himself in a different perspective. When Arjuna looks upon himself as a killer of this person, definitely papa, it's a papa karma. Looks upon himself as a one who is serving the cause of dharma, it no more remains papa karma. It's not the karma that is called papa or punya. It is the attitude with which a karma is done that is called papa or punya. So ideally, yasya naham krato bhava buddhi yasya nilipyate hatvapi saiman lokan nahanti na nibadhyate. A very extremely noble vision of a wise person who is being described here. Yasya naham krato bhava. One doesn't have the ahankara that I am so and so, that I am performing the action. Buddhi yasya nilipyate, who is no personal agenda in performing this action. It is performed by Ishvara. A karma yogi looks upon himself as nimitta or instrument in the hands of Ishvara. But a wise person knows that it is in my presence that the karma is done. Hatva visaiman lokan nahanti na nibadhyate. Even though outwardly killing all these people, he neither kills them, na nibadhyate, is not bound by punya or papa. That's a very, that vision is a great vision, lofty vision. For a karma yogi, the vision is that I am an instrument in the hand of the Lord. I am fulfilling the wishes of the Lord for the cause of the Lord. But that karma yogi ultimately, through knowledge, transcends into person who knows, who sees, I am not doing anything. Everything is done in my presence. In that case, however terrible the karma is, heinous the action is, like killing people, he says, I am not doing it, and therefore it does not create any effect for him or for him. So, with this goal in mind, this is all told to Arjuna, not because Arjuna is like this. This is being told to Arjuna to give Arjuna a role model. That this is how you will be. Karmani samsiddhim asthitaha janakadaya. Janaka and others also attained this vision, attained this state of freedom through karma. Kuru karma eva tasmat. Therefore, you also perform karma because karma can very well become the means of moksha. The one who attained that moksha, he is being described here. So Arjuna, a karma yogi, can imitate that, can try to imbibe those values in himself. So let us read the next verse, verse number 21, where this wise person is described. Now, the point is, what a wise person does is not determined by himself or herself. What you and I do is determined by ourselves, sort of. Because we have that free will. And because of free will, we interfere in the process of Ishvara. But the wise person is free from the need of exercising free will. Therefore, he does not interfere in the process of Ishvara. He totally becomes an instrument in the hands of Ishvara. For Karma Yogi, becoming an instrument is a value or attitude. For a wise person, it's a reality. Therefore, it is not that person who decides what to do or what not to do. Then what decides? What decides what a wise person does? It is prarabdha, his destiny. Or you can say Ishvara decides for him what he does or does not do. You can call it prarabdha. The karma that he has to exhaust now, because he is already liberated, does not need to do anything for himself. So his whole existence is meant as an offering. But what's the form of that offering? That offering may be in the form of, as we say, karmanyavi pravrittopi, in the form of lots of karma, dedicated karma. Or it can very well be in the form of a recluse, one who does not do anything. There's a whole range of entities who are all wise, but outwardly their behavior is quite different from each other. So earlier verse described a wise person who is very active. That's what his destiny, I guess, demands from him. Meaning he has surrendered himself to destiny. Since he does not exercise his free will, his destiny decides what he does. In case of one person, the destiny in the form of Ishvara decides that he should do lots of things. Because some other person, the destiny in the form of Ishvara decides that he doesn't do anything. And in between. So now we have a description of a person, a wise person, who is described, in Lord Krishna describes both the form of his action, his behavior, and the spirit, his state of mind, his perception about himself, his perception of karma. Both are described. We will see that as far as his perception of self is concerned, is the same for each wise person. As far as the form of action is concerned, it is different for different persons. So now this verse 21 is a description of a wise person who has again delivered himself in the hands of prarabdha, who doesn't exercise and has no need to exercise free will. However, does what the prarabdha determines for him. So the verse 21, let us read that. Nirashiryata chittatma Tyakta sarva parigraha Shariram kevalam karma Kurvannapnoti kilvisham. So here, this wise person is said to describe as Shariram kevalam karma kurvan. Kevalam shariram karma kurvan. What he does, karma, his activities are merely for shariram, sustaining his body. That's all he does. Nothing more. Only activity performed during the day is that which is required for sustaining his body, shariram. That also is determined by his prarabdha, that his sharira or the body should be sustained. Because that body is a product of the past karma. And the body has to be sustained or will be sustained, will continue to survive as long as the effect of the past karma is. You must have heard these examples of a potter's wheel. When a potter turns his wheel and forms a vessel like a pot, then when the vessel is formed, he removes that vessel from the wheel. But the wheel continues to turn because of the momentum. Meaning that the potter is not turning the wheel. The wheel is turning by itself. By what? By the momentum that has been acquired from the force applied earlier. So wheel will stop when that momentum gets exhausted in course of time. Similarly, the prarabdha karma for a wise person also is like that means, like that momentum, like a wheel. His body also is set into motion by his own prarabdha karma. The result of the karma, residual karma is brought with him. And that's what sets his body into motion, into action, or into lack of action. And so, the sharira is sustained by prarabdha really. Prarabdham pushyati vapuhu. As far as the wise person is concerned, his vapu, his body also is sustained by prarabdha. There is no deliberate effort on the part of the wise person even to sustain his body, theoretically. But it may appear to us that he is doing what is necessary to sustain the body. When I move back, that's what happens. So I have to maintain that distance also. So wise person appears to be doing something to sustain his body. What is it? That is it. He goes for bhiksha, for example, for begging the alms, which is permitted to do. And perhaps taking bath and stuff like that, maintaining the body. Other than that, he doesn't do anything. So this fellow would be considered as a sinner in the eyes of the Mimamsakas. He's not doing anything. He's not performing his duty. He's not contributing anything. According to Mimamsakas, and rightfully so, Vedas, a person is supposed to contribute as long as the person is alive. Yavat jivam agnihotram jihoti. As long as a person is alive, so long he should perform agnihotra, which is a yaga, which stands for all the obligatory duties, meaning that as long as a person is alive, he should perform all the duties that he is obligated to do. Now this concept of duty has been discussed number of times in the past, where Vedas look upon us as consumers and the whole world and the nature as contributors. So we are the beneficiaries of the contribution made by the rest of the world, including devatas and rishis and pitrus and everything. We are consumers, and therefore we should contribute. Meaning the idea of contribution is already built into the idea of duty. And therefore Veda says that you must perform your duty as long as you are alive, because as long as you are alive, you are consuming from the resources of nature. You are breathing air, you are drinking water, you are eating food, you are walking on the earth, you are occupying space. Meaning that even just to live also, you are consuming the resources of nature. And therefore, you should contribute as long as you are alive. So in context of that, this verse is being said. We'll take a break and continue after the coffee break. Om.